tell you guys about the story of this car. I bought this car 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, I think it was that long. I actually bought it from a dealership down in Toronto. When I went there, it had 3 flat tires. It wouldn't start. Paid like $500 for it 3 years ago. And brought it home. One of my neighbors here in this town has a young kid. His name's Brody. He was 17 at the time, and his engine blew up in his truck. And he had no way to get to work or do anything. So I said, you know what? I bought this Toyota Avalon. It's really nice. It's in my backyard. It's a little rusty, but it runs great. He said, you know what? How much for the car? I said, you can have it. I just get it back when you're done with it. Figuring this kid would drive it for like 6 months. Well, he returned the car this week. He's been driving this thing for almost 4 years. And he's put a lot of work into it. It's got all brand new brakes on it. It's got all new tie rod struts, new radiator, new steering rack. He was a Ford guy through and through, F-150s. He loved this car so much. After 4 years of beating on it, he went out and bought a newer Toyota Camry. So that just shows you how much these cars actually take a beating. This thing here is a 95. I just got in it today. The air conditioning still works. But he wants the trailer hitch back. Now, the trailer hitch is actually off of, I believe, his old Ford. So I said to him, how'd you attach it? He says, well, I welded it. Well, it's going to be pretty hard to get it off. Now, the pin does not even really exist inside this thing because there is no pin holding the trailer hitch in. It's just welded and then the receiver's pounded in. So I'm going to try to take it off. I'm going to try to be friendly at first, but we might have to get mean. Well, it came off. I did have to get a little mean. Sorry, Brody. It didn't come out. That's still got no pin in it. That is unbelievable. There's no weld. That's just rust. It removed the factory aluminum bumper, the plastics. What the heck? Oh, that's the trailer hitch bent 90 degrees. Look at that. You know, I really thought his welds to the frame were going to give out, but I guess not. Good job, Brody. Those are some pretty nice welds on that thing. Well, trailer hitch is off. I'll send you a message right now, Brody. You can come and get it. Well, what's left of it. So this will be my first 97, 98 and older Avalons. The dinging is driving me crazy. Ugh. Some rule changes here in Ontario kind of make this car a little bit more valuable than a Camry because we no longer go off wheelbase. It kind of goes off. There's some places that still go off wheelbase, but then now a lot of these places are going off of the actual just compacts. So this is now a mini when it used to be a full size or a mid size. So kind of one rule change can make a value of a car worth a lot more or a lot less. The headlanger hanging down kind of sucks, but that'll be coming out. Surprise, we got something new. I have no idea if this thing just did a burnout or not. So what we have here is a 2005 Toyota Echo. Damn Toyotas with that crazy beeping. Now, for you guys unaware, a lot of rules are available here in Canada for me exporting cars to Africa, pretty much. And here's the things they want. They want cloth seats, they want automatic, and they want power windows. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have power windows, and it is 1 year off. So I need to I can only do vehicles that are 15 years old. This car is now 16 years old. So as of right now, I cannot no longer export this car to Africa. So that means it's mine. I'm got to do something with it. This is probably one of Toyota's kind of more reliable engines. It's a 1.5 liter, and honestly, this thing runs forever. It kind of doesn't really die at all. It's in a lot of different cars. It's the same motor that's just ramped up to size to 1.8 in a couple different other cars. It's super reliable. It never breaks down. And this car here is a freaking test to it. It's got 416,000 kilometers on it. The body's rotting away, but everything else is immaculate on this. I want to save those hubcaps and put them on my Toyota I drive every day. There's some problems with it. It's a little rusty and clunks and bangs, but for a commuter car to reach 400,000 these days is pretty much unbelievable. So I'm going to take this up, and we're going to take a look at the underside and see if this thing is anything like its older brother, the Corolla or the Camry. So inside here is actually really clean, and it smells like a public pool. You know that smell you get when the over-chlorinated? It doesn't really bother me. Just interesting. Oh my god, we even have extra weight back here. Newish brake discs. The engine cover. Brand new brake pads. And a used coil pack. I imagine there's a donut in here. Ah, it's in there. I'll deal with that later. So, for you guys that don't know, Echoes are actually made in Japan. They're part of Toyota motor division. They're smaller, economic, fuel-efficient cars. They get an amazing fuel economy, cheap to run, cheap to maintain. Well, we're more interested on how they will do in a heavy front-end accident. So let's get underneath this thing. So we got this Toyota up, and we're looking at it. And it really doesn't look like a Corolla. It really doesn't look like a Camry. It just looks different. It kind of looks like a Cavalier, except with a better subframe. Corollas, the older Corollas, like the 2000s, 98s, they have a bar that goes from here to here in the middle of the car that kind of helps strengthen the ride support. But unfortunately, this one does not have that. Oil filters in a quite upfront, crappy location. Big aluminum oil pans. Sub's kind of punky on this thing. Actually, the sub's not bad. Everything, like even the tires look brand new. But front end does not look tough. And the back end, if it wasn't so rotted, it would kind of look okay. Now, I do think that this rear end swaps out of this car and actually goes underneath a Camry. So maybe that is something I will do with this once we're done having fun with it. But, you know, I think we're going to have a little bit of fun with it. We can do some crazy things to it if we want. We can try to take out the rear end. We can try flipping it upside down to get a little bit of a lift in the back. But I don't really think it's going to do anything. Maybe we can put some really big tires on it. These ones are tiny, but they look big on the car. The e-brake works. The transmission works. It might just be a great Rivers race car coming up. But overall, I don't think it's going to do very good in the demolition derby. The frame is super tiny on these things. But overall, I don't think it's going to be a great derby car. For the off-road races, because it's so light, it might be zippy enough just to kind of zip past everybody and get shoved around in the corners, but be okay. So maybe that's what we'll do with it.